Dumelang, welcome to Face the Nation. My name is Clement Manyathela. Great to have you with us here on SABC News. On the show tonight, now that the Constitutional Court agrees that singing the song Dubuli Bunu or Kill the Boer is constitutionally protected under the right to freedom of speech, why is the DA still calling for the EFF to stop singing the song? Earlier today, the Constitutional Court dismissed AfriForum's attempt to reverse an earlier Supreme Court of Appeal judgment which found that the singing of this song did not constitute hate speech. The DA and the EFF will speak to us tonight. Also on the show, did the Madibeng mayor facilitate the employment of his daughter in the municipality? That's the accusation that he faces that has led to the ANC placing him on special leave. The mayor of Madibeng, Douglas Maimane, faces the nation tonight. But first, my comment.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa,
That's Julius Malema singing the Dubula Ibunu song at a rally recently. The Constitutional Court has today dismissed AfriForum's leave to appeal this Kill the Boer song. In fact, that judgment which found that the chant did not constitute hate speech. Remember, the Equality Court ruled that the singing of the song, which means shoot the Boer, does not constitute hate speech, nor incite violence. AfriForum tried to appeal that judgment. I want to remind you now just a bit of what Judge Edwin Molahlehi said when he made the ruling. It was a fascinating judgment to go through.
In the light of the above, I find that AfriForum has failed to make out a case that the lyrics in the impugned song constitute hate speech as envisaged in Section 10(1) and 7(a) of the Equality Act. The order. In the circumstances, the following order is made. 1. The complaint that the first impugned song, open quote, kiss the Boer or kill the Boer or kiss the farmer, close quote, constitute hate speech and unfair discrimination is dismissed. 2. The complaint that the second song sung, open quote, Bizani e Fire Brigade, close quote, open quote, call the fire brigade, constitute hate speech and unfair discrimination is dismissed. The complainant is to pay the cost of the suit. I hand the judgment.
So the judge was basically saying that the lyrics to the song form a necessary part of the South African rhetoric and political history. He found that when the lyrics are read in context, they communicate the displeasure of the EFF and by extension, its supporters' frustration with the failings of the ANC since the country gained democracy. And the EFF has always been clear on that. They say that they sing this song to push for land reform and radical economic transformation. So basically the judge says the proper interpretation of this song has to be located within the political context within which it is sung. Now, the DA has released a statement right after this ruling from the Constitutional Court, calling on the EFF and whoever still sings this Kill the Boer song to stop, regardless of this judgment. The party says the song is unacceptable and divisive. And as you may be aware, this is a view that is also held by AfriForum. This is a view that's also held by senior US President Donald Trump's allies in the US, like Elon Musk, like the Secretary of State in the US, Marco Rubio. They want the song to stop. In fact, they believe it leads to the so-called persecution of white Afrikaners in the country. The DA says this song has no place in our society, regardless of any legal ruling on its constitutionality. Here's the party's federal executive member, Willie Aukamp.
The continued chanting of the phrase, kill the Boer, is unacceptable and it is divisive. While legal rulings may exist, this chant incites violence and deepens societal divisions. Political leaders, including Julius Malema, must be held accountable. Farmers play a vital role in our nation, and promoting such division harms our unity. We need leadership that fosters peace, not division, and we call on President Ramaphosa to also publicly condemn this phrase.
Now, the EFF leader Julius Malema previously responded to attacks to his party for continuing to sing the song.
There is a court decision that must be respected. Those who have appealed it, they must go and fight it in court. We won, and we shall sing this song in line with the court decision. The court of South Africa, an independent court, has made a declaration on this matter and is closed.
So the parties that want the song to be banned have lost this battle in court, as Julius Malema says. And this is the final nail in their legal battles, because this is the constitutional court ruling on this matter, which is the final arbiter. So the question we're asking you tonight is whether you think this song should be retired in public arenas for the purpose of social harmony and cohesion, or whether people and parties must continue to sing it in political contexts and because of freedom of speech. I think this matter has been over-dramatized to create the same false impression that AfriForum has been trying to push with farmer tax, that white Afrikaners or farmers are being persecuted and killed in farms, when in fact the police's official statistics show that only one farmer was killed in the last quarter. Those statistics on farm killings recorded 12 farm murders between October and December 2024. 5 of those victims were farm dwellers. 4 were employees, and 1 was a farmer. So farm workers are still killed more than farmers. And it's been found that these attacks, even on farm owners, are not racially motivated. The DA and AfriForum are doing the same even with this song. They want to create an impression that singing this song somehow puts the lives of white farmers at risk. And if that is indeed the case, which farmer has been killed? Because the EFF has been singing this song for years now. Which group of people were inspired to go on a killing spree of farmers after hearing this song? Maybe they can share that with us. The court was clear when it ruled on this. It said struggle songs should be allowed to be sung as freedom of speech. And in the political arena, the judge emphasized that the song's interpretation should be considered within its political context, where Malema advocates for land reform or for radical economic transformation. So now that this matter is settled in the Constitutional Court, do you think that the song should be continued to be sung, or should it be banned? You can share your thoughts with us by sending us a WhatsApp on 078-459-1897. Remember, always to tell us your name and surname and where you're sending that voice note from. And please keep it at 30 seconds or send us an X on @FaceTheNation SABC. After the break, we hear from the DA and the EFF. Stay with us. Welcome back. We are picking up from this conversation from the comment this evening about the Constitutional Court, which has dismissed AfriForum's attempt to appeal the Supreme Court of Appeal's judgment, which found that the singing of the song Kill the Boer, Tubulipunu, does not constitute hate speech. Nqobile Mhlongo is a member of the EFF Central Command team joining us now, and Willie Aukamp is a member of the Federal Executive for the Democratic Alliance. Nqobile and Willie, thank you so much for making time for us. I'll start with you first, Willie Aukamp. This is the highest court in the land that has ruled on this matter. The song doesn't incite violence. So why do you want the EFF to stop singing it?
Good evening, Clement. Clement, the mere fact that something might not be unconstitutional does not say that it is welcomed. I think we've got to look at where we are currently in this country. We are building a country. We are building a nation. And in everything that we do, we must ask ourselves whether what we are doing is contributing towards nation building. And I can promise you that this song is definitely not. Not when it's sang and not when it's heard. When it is sung, it is done with a certain message. We all saw over this weekend when we celebrated Human Rights Day, the song that was sung and the way in which Mr. Malema sang that song. He sang it in a way, pointing with his fingers like a gun, pulling a trigger. It should not be right. And even if the court said that it is in the ambit of freedom of speech and looked at the historical value thereof, one should always ask yourself, in the context of where we are today, is this contributing towards nation building? And it definitely is not.
Yeah. Why do you believe it is an inflammatory chant? You said in your statement that this song incites violence. What did this song inflame? What violence did it incite?
Well, it asks for kill the Boer and then kill the farmer. If you listen and look at the words of the whole song, it calls the Boer rapist. It calls the Boer murderers. It calls for killing of a specific group in this country. Now, whether you refer to Boers as only being farmers, or when you refer to Boers as being white people or Afrikaans-speaking people, it doesn't matter. You should never call for the killing of any part of this nation of ours. Let me give you an example. The Democratic Alliance is a party for capitalism. We believe that the capitalist system works and that is what should be out there. We have never called for the killing or the harming of any communist person. It should not be like that. And for the EFF or anybody to stand on a stage and to think that if they chant that song, it will help build this country, it's definitely not right.
Yeah. And
I am a farmer. My wife sometimes on the farm alone at night. When she hears that, or when any farmer's wife hears that, if we want to talk specifically about people in the farms, she does not like that. She feels unsafe. And you rightly said, when we talk about farmers and people being murdered, we're not only talking about the farm owner, whether it's a black or a white person. We're talking about people on our farms, people in our rural communities.
Yeah.
But that's not the question. The question here remains, is this contributing towards nation building, yes or no? And it definitely is not.
Okay, let's clarify this, Willie, because I'm a bit worried about this messaging that it calls for the killing of white people, right? Because the Constitutional Court, in fact, you go far to the lowest court, they said if the song doesn't incite violence, you have to look at it within the political context, historical context. This is a song that was sung to challenge the system at the time, the system of apartheid. The EFF has said in court, we are using this song. We're not saying go kill white people. We're singing this song again to decry the injustices and also this current system of government under the ANC. Are you insinuating that people who hear this song would generally want to go on a killing spree of white farmers?
Clement, it's not only about the people that hears a song that sees it as a request or as an instruction, which it might or might not be. It is also about the feelings of the people that hear the song and feel threatened by it. I can remember when I was at school, we had a specific nickname for a specific person. And calling him that name every day, but at a later stage, we realized that he does not like being called that name. And I had to ask myself the question, is my right to call him a nickname stronger than his right not to be called that name? And I had to stop because I knew that this is hurting him. And I think this is where we are at this stage in our country. It's not only about what people perceive, people might think the instruction might be, or what the historical value is. I think the EFF and people singing the song must also realize that there are fellow South Africans that does not like that.
Okay.
And then ask themselves, why, if we know that there are people that might threaten, rightly or wrongly, it's not the question. Why continue with it? Why continue after 31 years of democracy, where we are trying to build a nation? And again, this is a distinguishing between the builders on the one hand and the breakers on the other hand. We've got to build a nation. I want to live in peace with everybody in this country. I'm not going to walk around and shouting threatening songs or phrases out there at all, because I know it will not build this country, and we expect exactly the same from every single citizen who loves this country and its people.
Yeah, I want to bring in Nqobile in a moment, but before I do, Willie, if the EFF says to you, we are not calling on white people to be killed, why do you insist on being hurt by the song? And let me ask it differently as well. Are you aware of any white farmer that has been killed by someone who heard or sang the song?
No, I'm not. But that is, again, not the question. The question is whether this contributes to nation building. And if the EFF or anybody says that this does, then I've got to ask myself, what is nation building? If nation building is threatening or singing songs that you know is definitely not working towards a cohesion in this country, then you've got to ask yourselves, why are you doing that? And again, whether it's leading to a specific murder, that is not the question. One murder is too many. Whether it's a murder on the Cape Flats or a murder in Johannesburg or a murder on a farm, whether it's a farm worker or whether it's a farm owner, whether it's black or white, it doesn't matter. It is one too many. And we've again got to ask ourselves, is kill the Boer, kill the farmer? And just by the way, the words kill the farmer was not part of the original song that was sung in the struggle era. They've added the words kill the farmer. Kill the Boer referred to a specific group of people. Kill the farmer refers to a specific employment type of person. That is the person farming on a farm. And that should not be condoned. Not at all.
Let me bring in Nqobile here. I've given you enough time to make your opening statement. Nqobile, as the EFF, what is your context? So maybe first of all, give us your reaction as the EFF to this ruling that really puts the matter to bed from the Constitutional Court, and help us understand what your context as the EFF is for singing this song.
Good evening, Clement, to you and your viewers. First and foremost, what a nice way to end today's day. What a nice way to end Human Rights Month, whereby our victory was sealed in the Constitutional Court today with this delivery of this judgment on this matter. Now, in the contents of the EFF, we are happy that our courts are not seeking to erase the injustices of the past, and they are not seeking to make us to forget the injustices of the past. We sing this song in order as a way of protesting against forgetting the injustices of the past. We want to continuously remember, because the system that oppressed us during the apartheid, during colonialism, is still there. The systematic exclusion of black people from participating in the economy of this country is still happening to this day. The systematic exclusion and disposition of land of our people is still happening now. Majority of the land, 79% of the land of South Africa, is in the hands of white people at the exclusion of black people. Now, if William wants to speak about nation building, the Afrikaners who own the land of this country should be ashamed of themselves, should come to the party and willingly give the land that they own, so that the land ownership of this country reflects the demographics of South Africa. So that's the content. We are very happy to end Human Rights Month, and we are happy that once and for all, the matter has now been settled. No one will take it anywhere, and we will continue to sing and chant. This is a chant. The problem with people like William is that they want to interpret a chant. They want to monitor and police us on how we must feel about the injustices of the past. We'll never forget what the colonies and apartheid government did to our people. It's something that we must continue to teach for generations to come. This song must be sung. We found it is a struggle song. It was sung long before we were born. It was sung when land disposition started to happen in this country. And it must continue to sing. It's a song that says, kill the Boer means we are fighting the system, kill the system, the systematic system, which is apartheid, systematic system that seeks to exclude the majority of our people from economic activities, that excludes our people from land ownership. That's the system. If it's the system, that's why it's going to be feeling intimidated, because it is the system there. Yeah. We're fighting a system, not an individual. The song does not point out that go and kill a Willie Aukamp. I say we are killing the system, which is oppression and exclusion of people from participating.
So the argument by the DA is that as a society we should be working towards this unity and healing and not seeing these songs that sort of deepen the rifts that still exist in our country. Do you not believe that this song is divisive, given that there are some stakeholders or sectors of our society that say we are quite worried about this song when it's chanted and what the messaging may be?
We're not worried, and we want to use this opportunity to call on the white South Africans who are owning hectares of land at the exclusion of our majority people to come to the party if they want to build a nation and want to contribute to honest nation building. How do they feel when they own land at the exclusion of the majority of the people? They should be ashamed that land ownership of this country does not reflect the demographics of South Africa. So they should be ashamed. They should be the first ones to volunteer and come and say to government, come government, here's our land we're offering. How does one family own thousands of hectares of land alone? And then they see our people living in squalor in the township, who are trapped as black people living in squalor in the townships. We look like sardines stuck in a tin fish. There's no space where we're living. And they know that this land that they own was forcefully dispossessed and stolen from us. It's not like they bought the land. It was stolen. They are beneficiaries of stolen land. They are beneficiaries of apartheid regime. To this day, they want to enjoy the privileges they got through land dispossession. They should be ashamed of themselves as white people that they really want to speak about nation building at the exclusion of our people. It cannot be, Clement, that we allow this thing to continue. So our people must continue to sing that song until attainment of the land, until they are rightfully participating in the economy of South Africa. Until then, Clement, we must continue to sing the song. Those who feel threatened by it, they are threatened by equality. They are threatened if they want to act like Cinderella because the shoe fits, they must wear it. But there's no single farmer that has ever been killed when the EFF sang kill the poor and kill the farmer. Because our people understand it's a struggle song. It's not meant to target an individual or a race of people. It's meant to target a system, which is apartheid and exclusion of our people.
Okay, Willie, when you hear the EFF say that, explain to you the historical and political context. You did say earlier that you're not aware of any farmer that has been killed because this song was sung or they heard the song. You're not aware of any farmer that has somehow been pushed the wrong way. What you are addressing here is that there are people that feel uncomfortable about the song. But I could come wearing this red tie, Willie, and there are some people that may be offended by it until I explain the context of it. When people explain this context, in this case the EFF, and says, no, Willie, don't worry. You and your wife don't have to worry. We are not calling for you to be killed. This is a song that has links to history. This is our own context. If the people who are singing this song are saying that, why then do we still want to go back to, at the end of the day, I still feel offended. At the end of the day, I still feel like they want to kill me. When the people who are singing it are saying, that's not the message that we're sending out.
Then I challenge Julius Malema to go on a stage and openly say that he do not ask for the killing of anybody. I challenge him to do that.
He said that in the clip that I played during my comment.
Well, sorry, I did not hear that. But the point of the matter is that when you stand on a stage and you say, Paul, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. And I would like to just read you the words of this initial song. Let me just read it to you. It said, the cowards are scared, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer. These dogs are raping, shoot, shoot, shoot the Boer. The cowards are scared, shoot, shoot. Never in the original song was the word farmer mentioned. So the moment that you change it, you're not speaking about the originality of a struggle song. And I think we've got to look at that as well. Why bring in the word farmer? Why bring in a specific group of people that you want to target? Clement, this should not be where we are in this country. We should ask ourselves whether this is nation building. This type of divisive language is not only damaging us on a local level, it has international repercussions as well. Our reputation on the global stage is at risk when such hatred is openly condoned. It's making our country more vulnerable to the external scrutiny. The court's ruling in this matter, however controversial, should not be seen as a validation of its acceptability in the broader social context, Clement. And we've got to ask ourselves whether this is contributing to getting South Africa in a better place or not, and it is not.
So, Willie, we've just had Nqobile explain, on top of the clip I played earlier, that we are not calling for the killing of white people. I think we're moving somewhere here, because you do admit that no person has ever been inspired, at least to your knowledge, to go kill a white person just because a song has been sung. AfriForum itself has failed to prove that the lyrics of this song could reasonably be construed to demonstrate a clear intention to harm or to propagate any violence or hatred. So you said Julius Malema, you challenge him to go out and say we're not calling for the killing of white people. I'm happy to replay that clip again, but you've just heard now from someone who's part of the central command team of the EFF saying that's not what we are calling for. So with that assurance, are you okay, given that the courts have given the green line, given like the EFF itself that sings the song says, don't worry, really, we're not calling for anybody to kill you or anybody who is a white farmer. Are you then at ease to allow them to continue singing this song within that political context?
No, I'm not, Clement, because there are people out there on which behalf EFF can't speak. People's action, they do not control that. Why don't Julius Malema go out there? I've never heard Julius Malema in my life condemn any farm attack. I've never heard him condemn a farm attack and say that it should stop. Okay. I've never heard him. To say don't kill farmers is one thing, but go out and condemn it when a farm attack happened. Come with me to Hartswater, where 3 people of the Brandt family was murdered. Go and stand there with me in solidarity with that family in court. Don't go and picket outside of the court in support of the accused, which happened in certain instances. So, Clement, again, ask yourself whether this is contributing towards nation building. It is not. Let's get to a point where we obviously recognize the injustices of the past. We must never forget that. I fully agree with that. There was such a lot of things in this country that went wrong, and we should never forget about that. But we should also not make the same mistakes again and try to divide this country via racial lines ever again. We are a united country, and we should not be divided by racial lines.
Nqobile, yeah, please come in there.
Let's first start here, Clement. The EFF does not take instructions from Willie, and our activism will never be policed by Willie by directing us on which issues we must take, on which court cases we must attend. He must leave that mentality of being a boss. He's not a boss, he's not our boss. We don't take instructions from him.
Absolutely ridiculous saying that. It's
okay, hold on. Willie, I gave you an opportunity to speak. Let's hear him. I'll give you a chance.
If he does not like it, unfortunately for him, they've exhausted all the courts of this land. The highest court of the land has ruled on the matter. We will continue to sing Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, because that song is a struggle song. It reminds us where we come from, and we want to teach future generations where we come from and why we are in the situation we find ourselves in. So Willie must never think he can police our activism and channel us on issues that we must raise. We're an independent political party. We don't have white people we report to. We're in EFF. We report to the membership of the EFF, and we'll sing the song. If he's uncomfortable, tough luck for him with his uncomfortability. We're not here as the EFF to make white people or anybody comfortable. We're here to make the comfortable uncomfortable. We're here to disrupt the status quo, to ensure that our people struggles ahead. And the struggle of our people is land. Our people are looking for land. Willie must share his farm there. He's owning a farm. He just told you now. He owns a farm. Me and you, Clement, sitting here in this interview, we don't own land. We don't own farms, both of us. Any black person there in studio with you, they've got no access to land ownership. 90% of the land of this country is owned by white people alone, and we should never take that for granted and allow people like Willie to detect to us what should be at the center of the struggle. What is at the center of the struggle of the EFF is economic freedom in our lifetime. And that includes expropriation of South Africa's land without compensation and nationalization of banks and other strategic sectors of the economy for the benefit of our people. That's why Willie is uncomfortable, because he knows what the EFF stands for. He knows that under the EFF government, he will not own a farm alone. Black people, farm ownership will show the demographics of this country. So he's afraid of equality. Any white person, ask them what they're afraid of. They are afraid of being equal to black people. And under the EFF government, we're going to ensure that it happens.
Willie Aukamp, I'll give you an opportunity, Willie, before we wrap up. Willie Aukamp, Nqobile, makes a point that there was no farmer in the original Tubulipunu song. What's your response to that? As the EFF, is that something you've added?
We can sing any struggle song anyhow we see fit. Like I've explained, we can't be policed by Willie trying to detect to us what is it that we can do or we cannot do. That will happen only during apartheid. And this is a democratic South Africa, we're an independent political party. We are not some desk of the Democratic Alliance of AfriForum. We'll do as we please, and everything we have done so far. The AfriForum lost that case in Equality Court. They lost the case in the Supreme Court. They've now lost in the Constitutional Court. Clearly, it shows that they've got no sense of what they're talking about. They are just grasping at straws, looking for relevance using the name of the EFF. We understand for anyone to get attention in this country, they must use the name of the EFF. They've overused that card now. Willie, please, you've got no say in how we conduct the business of economic freedom fighters, and you've got no say. You are the last person to police us on how we must feel about the injustices of the past. You are the biggest beneficiary of the apartheid regime. You still have those assets you acquired during apartheid. So you really, it's a mockery of our struggle for you really? To be boldly sent here to come and speak on a sensitive issue like this.
Yeah, Willie, you can come in there.
Clement, I've never inherited one thing in my life. What I've got, and a lot of people in this country have got, they've worked hard for. But let's not go in there.
No, I
can understand.
Hold on, Nqobile, hold on. Nqobile, hold on a second. Nqobile, hold on a second. Nqobile, I'll give you a chance. Let's hear Willie respond to what you had to say.
Clement, again, even if the highest court today dismissed their right to appeal, again, that should not be the question. And we are not instructing the EFF. I'm just merely pointing out that Julius Malema or no EFF member has ever attended a trial where a farmer or farm worker was murdered. They have never. Let's join hands in this. Maybe we can work together to stop this thing. So I'm inviting you. I'm not instructing you. Clement,
hold on, Nqobile, please, Nqobile, please.
I'm not instructing you. Yeah. I'm inviting you. Give me your phone number, and when we are at Parliament on Tuesday, I will come and sit with you, and I will show you pictures of people killed on farms, and I will invite you to come with me the next time something like that happens, whether it's a white farmer or a black farmer, I do not care. But let's join hands and condemn this. Let's not do anything that can enhance this. Let's work together to correct the injustices of the past. And yes, you're right. Maybe I, Willie Aukamp, do not feel exactly like that because I was a white person in the apartheid era. But that does not mean that it was right firstly, and that does not mean that we should stop correcting that. I'm a member of Parliament. This is a calling for me, and I want to every day work towards building a better future for every South African, black, white, Indian, colored, I do not care. We've got to build a new South Africa. We've got to always remember the past, but always remember that we are now one nation, and we've got to work towards building this nation and really walk away from any single thing that can break down the cohesion that we are trying so hard to work towards in this country.
Let me ask this before Nqobile comes in, Willie. Are you prepared as the DA, and I would ask AfriForum the same question if I had them here with us, are you prepared to also say to your constituency, to explain to them that the EFF is not calling for people to kill you. It's not calling for you to be killed, because you yourself know that nobody has ever been killed in this country who's a white farmer because of the song that's been sung. The courts have already said no evidence. are you prepared to actually go? Because here's my challenge is, there's often fear-mongering here. And I hear what you say about being a united country, but that attempt must also come from you as the DA. You need to say to your people that are telling you that I'm scared I'm going to be killed. You need to tell them that this is a historical song. That's a political song that doesn't directly say go and pick up arms and kill white people. Are you prepared to do that? Because otherwise, this is fear-mongering. We are perpetuating exactly what the courts say it's not true.
Clement, I'm not. And the moment that somebody stands on a stage with television cameras, pointing like this, pulling a trigger, asking and saying, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, pow, pow, it is not on. And I will not be able to tell anybody, again, black or white, that that does not ask for the killing of people. That is how I interpret it. And that is how a lot of people interpret it. So to think that we must go out there and tell people, you know what, the EFF is not serious when they say kill the Boer. Clement, how would you feel if somebody says kill Clement's mother? It's the same thing.
That's not true.
Even if you know,
that's not what the song says. Really, that's not what the song says. Yeah, but that's, you know, that's not what the song says. In fact, the court, this matter would never have gone up to the Constitutional Court and they found in this way. You know that. I think that's clutching at straws there.
Yeah.
No, it's not, Clement. Clement, the point that I'm making, is
yes, finish your point.
Killing of anybody. There might be people that feel threatened. Why do something if people might feel threatened? Why say something if you don't mean it? We've got to mean what we say. Don't say something and you don't mean it, and then you know that there's a lot of division created by that. What is then the reason of saying that? It should not be said then. If you really don't mean it, why say it at all? Let's become serious. Let's not threaten each other. Let's work together. And again, I'm asking, come with me where a farmer has been murdered, and let's support those families. Doesn't matter of which race. I'm inviting you. I'm actually. Yeah.
Are you prepared? Are you prepared to? Yeah. Are you prepared to come to Soshanguve as well with the EFF or other parties? Because again, that is the impression that come with me when a farmer, whether black or white, is killed. That again creates an impression that farm matters are actually what is the biggest crisis in this country. But when you look at the statistics, well, hold on. When you look at the statistics, gender-based violence. When you look at the statistics, the Cape Flats. So again, when you say that, the impression being created is that is actually the biggest crime problem we have. But in fact, as devastating as that is what's happening to farmers, both black and white, and now we know that it's actually more workers who get killed than the farm owners themselves, then let's have a conversation about going to the Cape Flats. How about we unite there? Let's have a conversation about when patrollers are killed in Soshanguve, you, EFF, the DA and other parties, let's go there together.
Clement, the DA has been there many times. I can give you an example of Ian Cameron, colleague of mine who is the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Police. Go and ask anybody on the Cape Flats, who is the one person that's there that tried to protect them? It's Ian Cameron from the DA. We've been there. We've been there in various different trials, whether it's a farm attack, whether it's a rape, whether it's a murder of somebody on the Cape Flats. It does not matter. We must be there for everybody. We must condemn all murders. We must condemn all gender-based violence. And that's the point that I make. You should not do anything that promotes any form of violence. In this instance, we are talking about the farmers because in their song, they used the word farmer. They asked, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, which is, as again I point out, not part of the original struggle song. So they changed it. It should not be like that. Okay. Let's be responsible. Let's be the adults in the room. Let's get together. Although we might differ logically with regards to certain things, let's condemn what is wrong. Let's work towards what is right. And let's take hands and do that.
Yeah, Nqobile, let me give you a chance here to come in and what are your last words?
Clement, it's very funny that William says that he doesn't see the EFF anyway. We are on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, the EFF is in different courts across the country. supporting victims of gender-based violence, supporting families of people who have been killed in gender-based violence, women who have been raped, children who have been raped. I have never seen the Democratic Alliance, not even in one court case that we attend on those issues. Now he wants to invite me to go and see his farms and see the opulence in which he and his constituency live in, and just to expose the poverty of black people so that I can go and see the opulence they live in at the expense of our people. We'll continue to sing. He's not being genuine, William, and the DA or AfriForum. The song we further even say, kiss the Boer, kiss the farmer. He doesn't complain about that because we're speaking about kissing. He's got no problem with it. Every time we sing, we even chant, mwah, 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 kiss the farmer, kiss the Boer. So we'll continue to sing the song. There's victory now. The matter is closed. They can go and cry in the streets because they've got no regard for our constitutional court. That's why he's standing here boldly going against a court ruling, a constitutional court ruling. He's saying that it was wrong for it to rule in the manner it did. Continue to undermine our courts. So it's fine, let him continue. We'll continue to sing the song. We'll never forget the struggle of the land. We continue to call for kiss the Boer, kill the farmer. Okay. We know it means to us kill the system which seeks to exclude black people from owning land, which seeks to exclude black people from participating in the economy of this country. And that is a system that is meant to exclude people from having economical power, black people from having economical power. And we are not ashamed of continuing to sing that song, and we'll continue to sing it until they turn blue and green. There's nothing they can do about it. The Court has ruled on the matter, and they can't say that it's the EFF that's making the global community to have a problem with this song. How does the global community have anything to do with this? Because it has nothing to do with them. This is a song that was sung during apartheid. There is no global country that does not know that South Africa, 32 years ago, there was apartheid in this country. We were living under oppression. There was a government that was not elected by the majority.
All right.
So it is not something new. The world knows what we have been through as South Africa. It's not anything new. In order for us to rebuild this country, I'm calling on you, William, share the farm that we have. Share that farm with your black workers who are working there on a daily basis in that farm to feed you and your family. We are calling on all farm owners to share the land now in order to build this country. If they want to speak about nation building, let's share the wealth of this country. Let's share the land.
Yeah, I've gone out of time, guys, and I have to leave it there. I think I've given us enough time. I've pushed this further than I was supposed to. I have to thank both of you. Nqobile Mhlongo, who is a member of the EFF Central Command Team. The Democratic Alliance is Willie Aukamp as well, who is a member of the DA's Federal Executive. Where do you stand on this? The EFF, like the court ruled, says we are not saying people must go out there and go kill white farmers. The court has already ruled that this song doesn't necessarily incite violence like that. The clip of Julius Malema I played earlier clarifies that that's not what they're calling for. There's a historical and political context here. Willie Aukamp acknowledges that no person has ever been killed because of the song. But what they are worried about is how sensitive this is and how that to them feels risky. Do you think that that makes sense, or do you agree with the EFF that the highest court in the land has ruled on this and the song should continue to be sung? Or do you think it's divisive? Let's hear from you. Let's start with your tweets that have come through now on social media. In fact, before your tweets, let's do your WhatsApp voice notes.
Good evening, Clement. Thank you so much for taking my voice note. This is Ndombi from Johannesburg. This song is a struggle song. I am not a EFF member, but this is a struggle song. The AfriForum and DA, they must just get over it. No one has been killed because Ngoma. So please, man, let's just forget about this and focus in the future. Thank you so much. This is Ndombi from Joburg. Bye.
Hi, Clement. It's my view that there's nothing wrong with the struggle songs. None of the struggle songs, even during the apartheid, has ever incited violence. There is no proof that all these songs that have been sang out, people interpreted them wrong or acted because of that. It's normal to have these struggle songs. The problem is that it's Julius Malema who's singing these songs. That's the problem. This is Mishak from Rimsef.
Sam Alekotriko Pislemen Dumela. If you don't know where you come from, every road will take you there. You cannot start a new journey to go where you want to go unless you know where you come from. This song must be sung anyhow, anytime, anywhere. It brings back our yesterday. They speak about division. Which division? Of course we are divided. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much for your inputs. Here's a reminder of what Julius Malema said recently when he was commenting on this song and why the EFF continues to sing it.
Shoot to kill, Yamaza, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, pa, brr, pa, pa, Division.
There is a court decision that must be respected. Those who have appealed it, they must go and fight it in court. We won, and we shall sing this song in line with the court decision. The Court of South Africa, an independent court, has made a declaration on this matter and is closed.
Welcome back. All right, let's now bring in the MK Party to respond to that as well. In fact, the MK Party says that it remains united despite reports of factionalism and public criticism of party leaders by some party members. They were speaking at the party's National High Command meeting. Nhlamulo Ndhlela speaks on behalf of the MK Party, joins us now via Zoom. Nhlamulo, thank you so much for making time for us. As the MK Party, let's start there with your reaction on this ruling from the Constitutional Court.
Well, this is certainly a positive outcome for those, and more so because there were those that were trying to erase, the history that, in effect, led us to be where we are today. They tried to, in most cases, being the AfriForum and as racist as they are, knowing what they've recently been doing, tried to erase what is quite honestly a struggle song that represents the pains of the people and what we went through. So Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer is a struggle song. It's a reflection of the challenges and the pains that we went through, and it cannot be erased from history. So this is a revolutionary song, and by virtue of the Constitutional Court now saying that it can be sang, so shall it be. It must be sung accordingly. Because it reflects on the past and what exactly happened to our people. Remember, our people also experienced genocide. So it cannot be that when a song, in effect, reflects on the past and the challenges and the pain and the deaths that people incurred at the time, that now gets erased from history. It cannot be. It's there. And I'm glad that the Court has now come to the final resolution on this matter.
Let's move now to some of the issues you've discussed in your meeting as top officials of the MK Party. Have you had an opportunity to discuss this budget proposal in Parliament? Has the ANC contacted you as the MK Party to somehow strike up a deal for you to support that budget?
Well, firstly, we will not support any increase on VAT whatsoever because it affects our people. We believe that, and we've said that this budget is not a pro-poor budget. It was crafted by lazy minds. And, there are many other ways which we've also articulated that could have been looked into and included into this budget. So we're saying that we will not in any way support any increase on the budget, even if it's by 0.1%. And that's our stance as MK Party.
Mm-hmm. Well, how are you dealing as top officials with some of the dissenting views expressed by members in the party? We've seen, of course, not just ordinary members, but even someone like Duduzile, who had made comments towards Floyd Shivambu. She has since apologized for that. There are people that are trying to say that Floyd Shivambu should be replaced as Secretary General. There are some in the MK Party that seem to be wanting to promote Advocate Busisiwe Mkhobane. They're saying she must replace the treasurer and be put in that position. Where are you as the organization in as far as all these different comments are concerned? How are you dealing with that?
And I think it gets to a point where people need to leave organizational issues to the leaders of the organization. Commander Dudu, as you had said, did express an apology publicly, and it was accepted by the SG, Floyd Shivambu. And there is no division in the party as people are purporting. I think more so than anything else, it's sensationalism, where people are actually hoping that the party will be divided. We're not divided as a party. We're united. Just this afternoon, we were having lunch with the president and Dudu and Comrade Floyd Shivambu at the same table, having discussions, and they were exchanging views. So this notion that there's going to be major changes and the SG is going to be removed, these are just pure speculations and individuals that are trying to sow division. As an organization, we're solid. We're focused on growing the organization, growing the membership, and building the structures. For instance, tomorrow, as you may know or may not know, we are going to KwaDukuza with the president for mobilization of the by-elections. You know that we've also recently won Saldanha, and you cannot be making these achievements if the party if there's division within the party and there's no unity. We are clear and we're resolute in terms of what we need to do. So there is no tension, and they get along.
So your comrade Dudu hasn't raised any issues internally about Floyd Shivambu, because even when she apologized, she says, I will raise some of the issues I have internally. So has she not raised any issue? Has she not written to the higher officers complaining about Floyd Shivambu and his leadership?
No, I think what's important is that, remember, we have a process, and it's a disciplinary process. There was a complaint that was laid against Commander Dudu. That process is ongoing. But it does, and remember, she has to be subjected to the process because she's a member of Umkhonto weSizwe, like any other member, and she is cooperating with the process and the prosecutor. She's been exchanging and making submissions.
Yes, but I'm asking about the letter, because she says she has legitimate concerns about the leadership of Floyd Shivambu. She said she'll raise those internally. Are you saying to us now, because you're telling us that you guys were having dinner on the same table, so it sounds like she's buried the hatchet. Are you saying that she's never raised complaints about Floyd Shivambu internally? She hasn't written to the party to complain?
I was just unpacking to you the sequence of events. She has made submissions, as is required by any member where a claim is laid against them. And that process is ongoing. As to whether she's still going to raise any issues, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're supposed to criticize each other as leaders. As long as it's constructive criticism, if it gets to the point where she's given a platform, as per the representations, where she has to speak and give views, then she'll do so. At this point, I'm saying to you is that her view is that there is no, what most people are saying is beef, and there's no division within the party. And as I said, we did have lunch together, and I witnessed it. I'm there. They were even in Namibia together. So there is no division whatsoever.
Can I have one request before we wrap up in Nhlamulo? Can you please tell Dudu that the viewers of Face the Nation are still waiting for her? She made a promise that she'll come on the show. So it's been a couple of months now since that promise was made. Please, can you remind her that the viewers are still waiting?
I'll tell you what, Commander Dudu, as you know, committed to yourself that she will be on the show. I don't know what happened. I recall there was something that transpired, as you recall at the time. I think she had to travel, but she's still committed, and you're certainly going to get a platform with her. There's no doubt.
Okay. You've heard it. Next time, don't ask me, guys, where Dudu is. Go and harass Nhlamulo and Duduzile. Thank you for making time for us. Nhlamulo Ndhlela speaks on behalf of the MK Party. We were supposed to speak to the Madibeng mayor, Douglas Maimane, the one who's being accused of having hired his own daughter. He cancelled us at the last minute, literally as the show was live, and he knew what time to log in. He just cancelled us. He's now telling us that he's been told not to do the interview. So that's just an update in case you're wondering why we didn't speak to him. Thank you so much for watching the Thursday edition of Face the Nation. We'll be back on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Have a good evening. Cheers.